In the last couple of episodes, we looked at specific things you can do to practice the technical side of photography, but there's a lot more to practice than just pushing buttons. Over the long haul of your photographic life, you're going to need to spend a lot more time practicing aesthetic things because you're going to get the technical stuff under your belt. To put it another way, you're going to spend the bulk of your practice time working on seeing. This can be an odd concept if you've never encountered it before. How do you practice seeing? After all, it's something you do every day from the moment you open your eyes in the morning. But there's a difference between looking and seeing, and there's a difference between navigating the world and seeing the world photographically. Think of it this way. If you have the ability to hear, then you're also hearing from the moment you wake up in the morning. But musicians understand that they have to train their ears. They have to learn to recognize pitch and intervals and chords. They do that through repetitive listening drills. Eye training is the same thing, and it can be complicated. You've got to train your eye to be able to recognize potential subject matter when you're out shooting, and you've got to train your eye to be able to recognize what works in a photo when you're back home editing. All of that takes practice. This is a subject we're going to return to a lot in this series. For now, here is a far from complete, in no particular order, may not all apply to you, list of ways to practice seeing and photographic aesthetics. First of all, something that sounds deceptively easy. Go shoot red things. That's it. Find red things and build compositions around them. Why? Because this will make you see what's around you. It will make you pay attention. It's a particularly good exercise to do in your own neighborhood, where it's often hard to recognize subject matter because everything is already familiar to you. Why red? Because oddly enough, there aren't a lot of red things out in the world, so you're going to have to really look to find them. If you want to make this exercise a little harder, forbid yourself from shooting red car lights. What's imperative to understand is that the goal here is not to shoot great images. What makes this exercise valuable is just that, it's exercise. It gets you using your camera, it gets you arranging things in the frame. Simply put, it's practice. The images that come out of it don't matter. Here are two opposite exercises that will give you two very different experiences. Go out for an hour and limit yourself to 3 shots. This is going to force you to be slow and deliberate and thoughtful. If an hour's too long, make it 30 minutes. You're going to need to be able to assess each image with your eye or in the viewfinder. That's different than relying on looking at images later on a big screen. So pay attention. Pay attention to the edges of the frame. Look for unwanted compositional intersections. You want to solve in camera all of those things that you often solve later simply by saying, oh, I've got another shot of this. On a follow-up expedition, go out for 10 minutes and come back with 120 shots. Yes, that's 1 every 10 seconds. This is going to get you completely out of your head and force you to shoot on impulse from a full, instant gestalt take of the world. It also means you have to move constantly. Walk, turn, look up, look down. Don't ever stop moving, and shoot every 10 seconds. Count down in your head. If you see something sooner than 10 seconds, then shoot it. But at the 10-second mark, you have to make a picture. You have to work with what you have at that moment. This is going to help you recognize that seeing potential subject matter begins with an impulse. You're going to grab that impulse without overthinking it or making it precious. This too will make you see more intensely. Finally, this last one is easiest in a rainy season, though you can try it at any time. Go out and try to make compositions around reflections. The point is not that reflections inherently make great photographs, though they can. The reason for this exercise is that once you're out doing it, you might be shocked to realize how much you normally don't see reflections. Your brain edits them out to give you a simpler visual experience. Recognizing that level of neurological interference in your seeing can be pretty shocking. I think that recognizing this interference in one situation and learning to work around it makes it easier to recognize when it's happening in other situations. But also, this exercise will train your eye to start noticing reflections. If you do this enough, you'll have another piece of photographic vocabulary to work with when you're out. Remember, the goal with these exercises is not to come back with great photos, but simply to be out practicing. They say practice makes perfect, but I don't believe that. Practice is only valuable if you're thoughtful about it while you're doing it. It only works if you're engaged and if you're paying attention so that you actually learn and grow from it. And that is something you'll get better at with practice.